Oh, yeah. Well, it happens. It happens, Moon. The awkward moments. Dun da da dun dun. Alright. All right. So we are about to cast CardCup, and depending on where we are at, we will also throw down the cast for MPL. Of course, Move Pro League, but there is upcoming, of course, BSL Pro League, so I don't think there is going to be time to cast both those events live. I'm not going to detract from Zero's event, but I will nonetheless be casting that here sometime later today, or perhaps just on my own and uploading it as a VOD. But CardCup is up first, so we'll be casting that, and again, if we have time, we'll go into some of my train of thought just completely died as I try to look at something on my phone. We'll go into the cast of MPL. All right, we got there. All right, so we have CardCup today, week 7. This is actually an event that took place about 4 or 5 months ago during last summer, and the final week has just not been casted, so that is on the agenda to do. And it features Red Warrior versus Kix, and then we have Cryok versus Tai 2. So let's go ahead and get ready to go here. Alright, so we have our games. Oh, it's unfortunate I named them that way, but that's okay. It'll still work. Let's see, let me double check my sound balance and all that good fun stuff. Do we have game sounds? Probably. Alright, switch over here. And we will jump into our first game. Okay, we do have the game sounds on, so that is good. So I think we're about ready to roll into game number 1. And so we have, spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map as our white Zerg, we have Red Warrior. And in the bottom right-hand Terran, you guys might know him. He's done some stuff in this community. His name is Kix. And if you don't happen to know Kix, well, let's just say Kix is the organizer extraordinaire. He is pretty well known. He's been around for a long time. Been doing a lot of great organizing. He runs STPL, among other things, which is his fantastic foreign team league, although it does feature the Korean clan. I believe it's White that plays in it, and take it somewhat seriously. I mean, you know, that we haven't had too many instances of like Mind or Best showing up. We have had some good players showing up. So there's that. And Kix has put a bunch of effort into that, and he's casted some other events as well, and has done a lot for organization in the scene. So if you guys care about that kind of stuff and the growth of the Brood War scene, then you should definitely be thinking Kix, because he does awesome work and deserves a bunch of credit. Now, the map we are on here is Clayfields, which is a foreign-made map, and as we can see, it is a fairly large-looking map. It has, in some ways, a bit of a similar feel to Fighting Spirit. Sorry, I just woke up. A bit of a similar feel to Fighting Spirit, with the, just coming down there, you've got a pretty normal natural, and then you have a relatively sealed off third base. It actually only has one entrance, but, 3 base layout to each base, and then it has these minerals in the center. Now, it's raised. The center is a little bit different, but it does have a Fighting Spirit-ish feel. I mean, this is a classic double ramp area here. I guess this would be the one thing that makes it feel different than Fighting Spirit. Fighting Spirit just has the 3 bases, whereas over here we do have these 2 bases extra. And of course, we see that the drone is not going to scout correctly here for Red Warrior. It's going to be a little while till he finds Kix. And, well, look at this. Kix is up to what we could call mild shenanigans, dropping 2 barracks here in the natural. And getting up, let's see, a spawning pool for Red Warrior, so it looks like we have a 12 hatch here. We do. So the downside for Kix is that he's cross-map. That'll slow down his rush time a little bit. Of course, Red Warrior is going to scout this here in just a second as this drone wanders on up here. He's at least going to see that there's no command center on the low ground. He's not necessarily going to know... Oh, okay. He turns the drone around, keeps it alive. He's not necessarily going to know that it's 2 racks. He's going to be left wondering, well, is he factoring? Is he 2-port wraithing? Is he 1-1-1-ing? I mean, lots of possibilities here. But he's going to be a little bit uncomfortable because he can't see the CC going down. He's not going to know exactly what's going on. Let's see how he's responding to this. He is getting out 2 pairs of lings and taking his gas. So everything's staying pretty normal at this point. Kix's SCV doing work on that spawning pool, trying to get some heavy damage done on the pool, that's for sure. And now the link's out. Oh, poor Kix. Okay, so Kix was absolutely AFK on that SCV and loses it ASAP to these Zerglings here in the center, which is not really the start you want. And, of course, now our creep colony is going down very quickly because, again, Zerg doesn't know what he's up against. Unfortunately, Kix can't actually see this being made, so... he's not... Oh, okay, so he's actually going to add a 3rd Rax. He's going to get Stim, so this is going to be a pretty aggressive 1-base kind of Marine timing attempt here. Just very aggressive play. And it's going to be contingent on Red Warrior getting a feeling for what's going on here and scouting it. Now, I don't think he's going to, but if Kix got a factory, that would just be like crazy all in. But I don't think we're going to see that. We'll probably just see a round or 2 off of these 3 racks and then moving out with a little over a group, maybe a group and a half here of Marine Medic. He is keeping a decent number of these back away from his ramp, which I like. He's not telling Red Warrior exactly what the play is yet. And the lair about to finish here, so we see no sign of a Hydra Den, so it does look like it is going to be a mutaplay from Red Warrior here, and indeed there goes the Spire. So he's getting that down at the usual timing there, right around 5 minutes. And indeed Kix rolls out. Let's see, how close was I with a group and a half assessment? That's 6 plus 10, yeah, that is more or less a group and a half here of Marine and Medic. Now let's see what's happening as far as these Sunkens go. 2 is certainly going to be insufficient. Just out of curiosity, what is the medic count? Yeah, we got 4 medics, and a pretty classic way of estimating the number of Sunkens you need is at least 1 per medic. So 2 is not going to be adequate here for Red Warrior by any stretch of the imagination. Now he is adding more Sunkens. He's going to scout, a very nice Ling Scout here. He's going to see that there are 3 racks, so he knows the situation there. And then, of course, that will allow him to get these 4 Sunken Colonies up. He's also made a group of Lings. Now, obviously, this is going to slow down his Muta. He's no longer going to be able to get out like 9 Muta the second his Spire finishes. But, of course, the important thing here is staying alive. But this group of Marine Medic is increasing in size from Kix. And I guess some of how well this goes is going to depend on what this group of Lings can do here when Kix runs in, because, well microed, these Marine can definitely eat these Sunken Colonies alive, and we just see a lot of reinforcements continue to be streamed up. He is going to burn a stim out of Kix here as Kix tries to chase these Zerglings around, and will he eventually catch them? Kind of, but he does pick off a Fire Bat and a Marine, so that's not terrible for Red Warrior. Kix does start his command center, and lots of Marine Medic pressure here out on the map. Alright, so Spire is up, so he's getting his Muta out. Now, if he gets time to get out 7 or 8 Muta that he can micro against those Marines, that adds a lot of staying power. Red Warrior feeling a bit scared and is actually going to add another Sunken Colony here, and we are about to have the bust coming in here from Kix. Alright, so Kix is going to charge in a few Muta out. Remember, this is not a full stack, But the Evo Chamber is up there, and the initial attack goes really poorly for Kix, and Red Warrior just cancels that Evo Chamber as well. Actually, nope. Pauses the Evo Chamber, rebuilds it, just doesn't want it to finish. Command Center just now starting for Kix, and just now starting in eBay. So let's see how safe Red Warrior feels. If he feels really safe, he can go across the map with the Muta, and that would leave a very vulnerable... Ooh, very crisp micro so far there from Red Warrior. I was going to say that would leave a very open main base here for Kix, but at the moment, Red Warrior does want to get that out away from his front doorstep, get access to the map. Going to force Kix up onto the high ground here, and it looks like perhaps the Muta are finally going to go cross map and give Kix a hard time back at home. Especially as the Ling scouts that, oh, there's nothing mining, so that's Red Warrior's going to be like, alright, he has really stayed aggressively on 2 bases. Red Warrior actually decides to leave this here. So I think we'll see him upgrade from that here shortly, and of course, yeah, rallied Muta coming on down, actually finding a Marine here to pick off, and now a bit of micro in the main. Okay, finds the clump at the natural, and I mean, so far with the Muta control and the positioning and some things like that, Red Warrior looking to be quite a bit stronger than Kix. I feel like this is going to be a hard match for Kix, and this initial engagement is going absolutely miserably for Kix, and the Muta micro from Red Warrior is looking fantastic. Really good shots and control, and right now Kix is just getting picked apart, and just as I say that, he misses like 3 times in a row with his Muta, but I mean, Kix's economy has just been cleaned up. He has no turrets, and the value for these Muta for Red Warrior just through the roof. A little bit of a mistake there on the pausing Muta, but like Kix has 10 SCVs or something, maybe less. He's not even mining gas right now. Marines are getting picked apart. He is making from his barracks, but barely. His medics aren't linked up. The Mutas are going to camp this Marine group, and it looks like the choice for Kix to keep these Marines out on the map has been a terrible one here, and Kix is just being eviscerated. I mean, this is basically over at this point. I mean, Red Warrior might not have a third, but everything is dying at the natural. Lurkers are half done. Medics are getting picked off. He's going to lose another 2 or 3 SCVs at a minimum before this, maybe all of them. I mean, Kix's economy just doesn't exist now. I feel like we have to see GG. Just some oversights here by Kix, some mistakes leaving all these at home. His Marines are coming back in a line. Red Warrior does lose a Muta there, but... you know, I mean, where do you go from here as Kix? There's just no options left. He's got no income. He's got 1 SCV. I mean, you know, what are you gonna do? Surprisingly, Kix hasn't left the game, but he is a true Terran to the core. He does not just leave the game for no reason. He stays. He stays. He fights. He won't leave until every unit is okay. Maybe not quite that, but he's a true Terran. And it is definitely a Terran mindset to never give up, never surrender, no matter how hopeless the cause. I mean, he still doesn't even have any turrets. Does he have any Marine? Okay, he has this one group here, Marine and Medic. Let's see if Red Warrior just rips that apart. And oh, well, that's... okay, there we go. Red Warrior circles around for a better angle, finding use of the ramp there. These guys are in trouble. Behind the minerals is usually not the greatest place for Marine Medic. Maybe if you can pack 5 or 6 up over there with a scan, it's not so bad, but... outside of that, another SCV going down. Marine and Medic continuing to be thinned here at the pressure of these Muta. I mean, you can see Kix can barely produce. Every mineral he has to go into SCVs, and yeah, this is very, very over here for Kix, who is feeling extremely dead. A few lurkers being popped out here and morphed. And wow, 19 supply for Kix, and he hasn't left the game. I admire the dedication, Kix, but you are very, very, very dead. Alright, come on, Red Warrior, please just camp these Marines and Medics. It's over. It's over. Alright, finding a little bit of this out of position. There we go. We're down to like, what, 3? There's like 4 Marine and Medic. Just camp it. Just camp it! You've got... what is going on here? What is going on? I mean, we're at the point where we're close to where replays need to be 2x'd. Just finish him. He's got, like, there's not even... Okay, please just camp this. There's not even... come on, there's not even medics! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I like how several times here Kix has changed where he's mining from. Alright, well, we're gonna continue picking... it's 5. The only thing I can think of is he wants to keep him alive to just, like, do some sort of silly, like, get out of the game kind of thing, like attacking with drones or something equally stupid. But... he's making like a normal composition. Well, the barracks or the CC is gonna float away, and that is going to die promptly and quickly. Okay, come on, come on. All right, so picking off that medic, CC is 100% dead. Please just camp the group. Come on, I believe. I believe. You realize, well, okay, with 8, maybe this no longer beats this group as it's now been whittled down to 8, but, yeah, this is what you call a very, very thoroughly dead. 19 to 93 supply. But, again, Kix is Terran. Never give up, never surrender. Just keep fighting till the end. We're going to get some Adrenal Gland. We're going to get a Greater Spire. Okay, we're going to send a bunch of Lurkling down here. That is fantastic. And Kix has, well, less than a control group of Marines and 2 medics to defend all of this. I'll give you a hint how this fight is going to go. Red Warrior's going to win. Unless he, like, dances his Lurkers. And his Mina. And his Muta. And then he still might win. Alright, so we're gonna siege the ramp. Yes, please try to go down the ramp, Kix. Do it! Do it! You can totally break this downhill ramp. I believe in you. I believe in you. It's downhill, so you can do it. It's totally possible. A small group of Marine medic can easily walk down a 3-lurker defended ramp. Alright, so we're gonna inch the lurkers forward. The Muta are gonna come forward and take a shot. And we have a bunch more back here. We have Hive almost done. Are we really going to wait for a Defiler? Or are we just going to morph Guardians and end things with Guardians? That's also a possibility. Kix is on 20 supply. He's mining with, yeah, you guessed it, 5 SCVs. 5 SCVs of mining. Super... Now he... What? What? Okay. Alright, Kix, your GG timing there is hilarious. I figured if you were going to stay, like, you were at least going to have to get eliminated, right? Like, why was that any moment better to GG than 10 minutes ago when you also had 4 SCVs? Oh, that was really funny. Alright, so we're gonna go into game 2 on Clay Fields. And of course, as you guys saw and can see from the title, this is one of those OBS maps where the Fog of War is disabled, and that is popular here for some newer maps. It's an idea that's being played around with as sort of a, you could say, quality of life improvement for newer players. So yeah, so you know, just because experienced players know the map, you know, it doesn't matter, revealed or unrevealed, like, doesn't make a difference, right? Like, you know the map, you know what you're playing. But for newer players, it can be really helpful. You're just like, okay, where are the other mains? Where are the other bases? How do I get there? Can I just quickly click on the mini-map? You know, all that kind of stuff. It's just a nice feature. I mean, yeah, I guess you could argue that for experienced players or whatever, if the map is revealed, you can't as effortlessly, like, click exactly on the mini-map to, like, send a probe or an SCV or whatever exactly to a base. But I feel like anybody that's half decent, just, like, if you played Fighting Spirit, you know you click, like, right here on Fighting Spirit, and there's going to be, like, a base, or the third base is, like, right there, and you can basically just accurately click on them. So that's one of the things going on here with the maps. And of course, this tournament was hosted by Jukato on some of his own maps, and Clayfield is one of those maps. So yeah, thanks to Jukato for the maps, and of course for the tour. And Four-Face, yeah, I guess you could say that is a little bit of a subtle way to salt, but I feel like the salt is unjustified in this case, simply because I lost my train of thought. Simply because he kicks, like, all ins, and he's Terran. Like, there's Segi, but on top of that, like, if you all in and your all in doesn't work, oh man. But I think that's just common for kicks too. Like, and you have to remember, when looking at a Kix game, who is Kix's like super favorite player that he bases all of his love and gameplay around? He actually has branched out in the past 6 months to a year, but the answer, think about his GG timing. If anybody can guess Kix's favorite player, although most of you probably already know who his favorite player is, that game should give you a very good clue as to where that GG timing comes from. There's a certain Terran player that's particularly famous for his GG timing, such that it's an actual phrase in our little happy community. Alright, so taking a look at this game, Kix is going to expand this time. He has no gas. Alright, so SCV's going to scout, and we have perhaps a switch in how things are going here. And what I mean by that is last time Kix played very aggressively, trying to immediately kill poor Red Warrior, and this time Red Warrior is going to play rather aggressively with some 2-hatch play, trying to kill poor Kix. And of course the spawn positions are the same as last time. Yeah, I was wondering about that too. And indeed it is true. I like to the point where I wasn't sure if like I had the wrong replays, because this looked to be exactly the same. Whatever. Oh, okay, so notice this. We have the layer being morphed here at the natural. That is one of those things Zerg will sometimes do because the SCV comes in, tends to stay in the main base, doesn't want to get shut out of the ramp, and so you don't actually let Terran see the specific timing of the layer. Now, link speed is coming as well. That's pretty normal. Oh, Kix loses his SCV, and now we're just going to watch to see if a Hydroden pops down. The fact that we don't see one yet possibly was holding that. The SCV is dead, but there's still not a Hydroden, so I think we can be pretty confident that we are going to see some 2-hatch Muta, and honestly, based on the play and the micro I saw from Red Warrior, I think that is not a bad choice at all. He had a very, very nice Muta micro on the whole in the previous match against Kix. I mean, really, the range at which his Muta appeared to be shooting and stuff, it looked very top-notch. I was highly impressed for a game that is, you know, 1800 kind of BA level. The Muta micro was very good, and Kix was more or less eviscerated and ripped apart by it, as you would expect. So Kix is going to need to change some things, maybe play more defensive, see if he can tighten up his own micro. He's going to need to make some adjustments if he's going to survive against the incoming Mutalisks here. Yeah, we can see we got the Spire down, cute little Spire placement there. It actually slightly optimizes the gas mining. The drones take less of a kinked path, and it forces them more into a line. And let's see, no scanner yet for Kix. He knows it's 2-hatch play. He doesn't know definitively it's Muta. He's getting his +1 out. We should see Stim start here. Oh, please start Stim Kix. This is becoming a bit of an issue. His upgrades are really slowed, which is not going to be a good thing, because that's going to also delay his range. Like, you get Stim, this is really becoming an issue. Oh, I feel very concerned for Kix. This is quite the oversight. He wants to get the barracks down ASAP, but I feel like that's not necessarily the greatest choice to prioritize getting these barracks down. Oh, I mean, it's, you know, cut an SCV, whatever. He still hasn't started. He finally starts his Stim. But yeah, I don't know about that. He really wanted his scanners to know what's going on, but I feel like you need upgrades more even than you need to know that. Of course, Mutalisks are on the way. He's made a good scan. He can start his turrets right about now. These lings are being a little bit annoying here in the natural. Now, we should see at least one turret start. The general rule with 2-hatch Muta is you need to start kind of like one turret in your main, one turret in your natural to be fine. And Kix is playing this pretty ballsy with some very, very late turrets. Now, it looks like he's going to get away with that. They'll just finish, but if he is even a little bit late, that becomes very annoying, because without even a single turret there, it's hard to have the cover to get up more turrets. Now, there is a bit of a delaying. This is not, Red Warrior is not a pro gamer. It's not quite as crisp. So Kix is going to get up a turret, but it's kind of far away. Red Warrior probably won't dive on it, but it's a little on the vulnerable side. And this turret here should get denied. The SCV will definitely get picked up. Yeah, it forces an immediate cancel and does get the SCV. So the barracks are exposed. And this looks dangerous for Kix, because Red Warrior, we've seen, appears to have... Oh, that is quite the oversight, though. Red Warrior flying in a little too far. We got something going on here. Ling's picking off turrets in the natural, not good for kicks, but Red Warrior is a bit distracted with his Ling micro, and I can understand why, but that's already softened up his Muta, so it's hard to say. Now, the fact that there's no turrets in the natural, I would just pivot over there and be really annoying, because Kix' Marines are in a good defensive format, but we can see Red Warrior's micro is still very crisp, and he really is just focusing on this Marine count, and now he pivots to the natural. He's actually got control of the ramp, unfortunately getting a missed shot, but still, the micro is pretty good. Now he needs to stop fighting there. We're just seeing Red Warrior having a few places where he's, like, stopping his Muta just in range of Kix, and of course, Red Warrior is getting a third base behind this. Alright, so now he's got a pretty intimidating stack here, and Kix is doing a terrible job, in all honesty, rebuilding turrets here and looking extremely vulnerable. Only one turret in his main, no turrets anywhere else. He's not able to mine from his natural. He does have these 5 racks, but look how thin the production is at all of these barracks. And now some Lings are going to run, well, I thought they were going to run because they muted pause for a moment, so I thought we were going to see the Lings run into the natural, but no. Just more Muta on the way. Let's pivot back to the base very quickly. Okay, we do see he's getting that +1 flyer carapace. Oh, that's a very dangerous place to park his Muta. Whoa! Red Warrior is really struggling with that this game. This is the 3rd or 4th time we've seen him park these Muta in the wrong spot here, and Kix loses a few SCVs to the natural. Again, he's not turreted this up at all. And now trying to stim out here with a few Marines. Is Kix going to try to come on the map? Oh, if he does, it's so bad for him. His main is almost completely undefended. He's only mining 1 base. Alright, but he is going to come out here. And, yeah, Red Warrior, for all his APM, he's a little, just seems a little off this game. He's slow to react. He's parking everything close. He doesn't have quite the Muta micro last game. This is very aggressive from Red Warrior. He is getting some good shots, but they're in the wrong place. It's not as good as last game, and we can see he's barely moving his Muta away each time, and a few times he's been punished for that. Not this time. A few more Muta are arriving. He is thinning out this group of Marine and Medic, though. It is down to, what, maybe a group or so of that. A couple more good shots, and he can just camp this. No reinforcements coming across the map right now. Has the +1 finish on those Muta? Yes, it has, so that's going to add some power to them, but only 8, make that 9 here. Just a small group left from Kix, and this is buying some time for his natural, but we can see Kix is looking a little overtaxed right now on the APM side of things. And finally, this group goes down. Usually not what you want to have happen against the 2 racks. Kix is, or against the 2-hatch Muta. Kix is taking quite a bit of damage here. He's trying to link up a small group here with this Medic, but wow, look at the health on that Medic. Look at the production. He's finally getting a turret up here. He's still got only 1 turret in his natural, and it is not a good position at all for Kix. It's really looking hard for him, especially with these 3 bases up. We can see there's a Queen's Nest there, a Hive morphing in the natural right now. So it looks like we're going to be transitioning into Guardians, quite possibly. And a bunch of Lings run in. There's not a Medic here, and it looks like Kix is very, very nearly overrun here. All right, we got Lings spilling into the main now. SCVs are pulled, and there's the GG. Red Warrior doesn't even have to go to Hive for that. Interestingly, he was double Evo. That is really interesting. Maybe for Lings, he was going to make some super Lings. Interesting check choices here for Red Warrior. But, yeah, Kix gets pretty badly hammered in Game 2 as well. He's going to need to find some major adjustments here to avoid just going out 3-0 here in this series. But we'll see if Kix can turn things around here and figure something out, because otherwise it is going to be a very swift exit for Kix in our series here. So we're going to go into Game 3, and this is going to be on Crown and Scepter. So we have, spawning in the top left-hand corner as the Brown Terran, Kix. And in the top right-hand corner, as our Teal Zerg, we have Red Warrior leading 2-0 in this best of 5. And as you guys saw, of course, this is Crown and Scepter. It is another Ducato-made map, one of the 3 or 4 notable foreign map makers that we have that really make quality maps. And of course, we'll take a look at the map. As we can see, again, this is another map that, to me, just the natural feel on the mini-map reminds me, at least vaguely, not incredibly, but vaguely, of Fighting Spirit. There are some obvious major differences, though. So, first is, of course, the positioning of the natural. But you come out here to the natural, and you have your double bridges here that guard the natural. Pretty nice entrance, wide open double bridge area. And then you have a third base that is open to the map at large, and off a narrow thing. So that is very much a fighting spirit feel. Oh, wow, thank you very much for subscribing. Wow, huge thank you, man. I appreciate it. So you've got the double bridges, and so this is similar, just a single ramp opening. So the feeling of the main and the bases is very much fighting spirit, as is the center. The double bridges is a bit of a different configuration. And of course, these mineral-only bases over here are very different in the feel, but kind of the main, natural, and third layout has some resemblance. So Kix is up to no good in the center of the map. Also, hello, Mazur, and thank you again, Wima. Very much appreciated. So we got 2 barracks here in the center, just rolling away. So yeah, Kix definitely wants to change things. He's like, I've had enough of getting bullied by this guy. I'm just gonna make some barracks in the center of the map and walk across the map and kill him. Nah, I don't think there's any bad blood, but there can be frustration getting brutally bopped around in 2 games. It does really look like Red Warrior's the stronger player. I know Kix sits at around 1700-ish MMR. I don't believe he's hit an A, but he is often at steady B. And I would guess from what we've seen, Red Warrior strikes me as maybe more of a 1900-ish player. You know, his play is not like incredibly crisp like a strong 2K plus foreigner, but it looks to be solid and clearly better than Kix. And of course it's ZVT, which is usually the stronger matchup for Terran, so I feel like Red Warrior is going to be the stronger player, but I'll be very curious to see how he handles the incoming BBS here from Kix. He's going to try to escape with that Overlord, and it looks like he'll be able to do it. The 2nd and 3rd Marine are just a little too slow, so that is very fortunate for Red Warrior. We have the drone pull right now. He has not scouted this yet, though, so he doesn't know what he's up against, and he's going to see here in a sec, he's going to be like, oh shit, there's way more than I expected, and he's already lost the drone. That's not good. A Marine comes forward, the body blocking almost there. Can he body block this 2nd Marine? It looks like he can. Okay, so that is some pretty good micro. If he can get the 3rd one, okay, he cannot. The drones now have to run. He's got to wait for Lings. Oh, he leaves 1 back at the natural. That is a mistake. And he's running in here. This is too soon. There's not enough Lings. A bit of panic for Red Warrior here, and these are obviously all going to go down, especially with double SCV repair, and it is looking absolutely terrible for Red Warrior. An SCV pain train arriving, and GG is called. Kix switching to Cheetah mode. The Cheetah from Kix takes game number 3, and that will send us to a game 4 between our 2 heroes here, Kix and Red Warrior, and it looks like we are back on clay fields. The site of Kix is 2-0. So Red Warrior, I guess, I'm assuming it is loser pick map. So Red Warrior gets bopped around here on Crown and Scepter, and he says, fuck that. We're going back to the map where I crushed you 2-0, and I'm going to try to crush you in the 3rd game and take the set outright. Wow, Kix rubbing it in a little bit. I don't think there's actually any bad blood. These are pretty friendly games, but clearly Kix rubbing it in. It's like, GG, buddy. GG, I got you with my BBS. You shall suffer from this. And then, of course, also for extra hype, guys, we are less than an hour and a half away from BSL Group 16, or Group 16, BSL Round of 16 Group D. We have, I believe, what, Bonth? I always can't ever decide how to pronounce it, even though I've heard it. And I believe Koget and... shoot, I should remember the other 2 people, but Bonth and Koget are slightly more notable playing, so it's a pretty strong group with some great matches coming up today, and of course that's going to be casted by Zero and usually a co-caster friend. So if you don't know about that, get hyped for that. We are definitely going to go raid them after this is all said and done. So get your BSL hype on. It is the premier foreign event. Or I should say the Premier Foreign Individual League. That would be unfair because STPL is also clearly a Premier Foreign event. That would be a knock on Kix' event. But Zero, with his fantastic organizing of the best individual Premier Foreign event, every top foreign player in it, a ladder stage, group stages, and now we're into the round of 16. In fact, the final group of the round of 16. All right, so taking a look at Bill. Oh, baby, we got lanes. We got drones being pulled off gas. We got lane aggression coming here. Oh, and look at Kix, who is grabbing pretty early gas here, but taking SCVs off the gas. Interesting. Or no, I see. He just hasn't put SCVs on the gas. Never mind. He's only got 32 gas. All right. So Kix a little sluggish to add SCVs. That might be intentional. Whoa! Okay, never mind. I thought he was just putting them on gas, but no, he is panicking to get to the ramp. He needs to reposition these. Oh, this is like, you don't really... Well, actually, that's interesting. I've never seen anyone try to go for... Oh, that's not good. Kix, please, organize your SCVs, please. Okay, so Red Warrior's a little slow to attack. It does give Kix enough time to organize those SCVs and get them into wonderful position. Picking those bad boys off. And, alright, we're going to have some lanes coming to the ramp. He goes for 1 SV. He doesn't get it. He runs away. Oh, nice repair on Kix. I was going to say, usually you try to either repair or use your camera hotkeys and go quickly, you know, right as the SCV takes damage. You try to grab them and do this, and bam, back to the minerals, bam, back to the minerals, just to not lose the SCVs. Now, in the meantime, we are expanding. Red Warrior is not continuing to mine a whole lot of gas, so he's not like going to do some crazy fast layer shenanigans. And I don't think he's going to try to bust up the ramp anymore. Behind this, Kix is getting a factory. Of course, we did see that fast gas, so that's not a surprise. Now, these games were played in June, so 111 was definitely around. Perhaps even more popular than it is now. It's certainly my sense of things is that 111 was kind of at its zenith in popular, if I'm using that word right, at its popularity in between kind of like late summer, early fall, and then since Flash lost to effort, the amount of 111s I faced on the ladder dropped by like 500%. It's been a long time, honestly, since I've played against 1-1. I think all the regular players, all of us mortals, decided, oh, okay, this is too easy to abuse, and I have not been facing it a whole lot. So I don't know what to expect from Kix, and the fact that we see one starport is possibly indicative of 1-1-1. It could be Valkyries. There are other options. No armory yet, but we might be seeing a 1-1-1 here. We see the Spire going down here, so the 2-hatch aggressive Muta from a Red Warrior. Kix still with no expansion, but that's would be typical for this style of play, so no alarm bells ringing there. Second gas on the way for Warrior. Okay, for a second I thought there were only 2 drones on there, but there are most certainly 3 drones on that gas, so happily mining away. Oh, Favorite and Ka are the others 2, and Dandy. I mixed up Dandy and Koget. Frick. Dandy. What? What the f... Why did he do that? Did he need to make something? Could he not make his Wraith? Oh, he wanted a dropship. Alright. Alright, maybe that's not as much of a what as my initial reaction was. So he wants to do Vulture Drop. He killed an SCV because he missed a depot and wanted to start that dropship ASAPly. Feels safe at his ramp. Muta on the way, though, so let's take a look at this timing. These Muta are going to be out. Wait, are they? We got 3 Vultures in. Ooh, these Muta might not quite be done by the time the Vultures are down. It depends a bit on the path of the dropship here. Alright, so Kix is going to grab an eBay. And, alright, he's flying in. Let's see what Red Warrior gets as far as vision goes. Just going to kind of keep an eye. Okay, so he does not see the dropship. Whatever path Kix takes is just out of vision here of Red Warrior. But the downside is, oh, this is really unfortunate. Like, 3 Vultures can still kill some drones, But it's, well, actually, maybe it's here fast enough that it's actually still going to get a decent number of drone kills, but the Muta are going to be popping right here. Already getting 3 or 4 drones, going for 5. And of course, there's no lings or anything like that, so the drones are just nicely auto-targeted by the vultures drilling at the ramp. But, I mean, let's face it, it was kind of unfortunate. Had Kix been able to get that dropship there 10 seconds faster, vultures would have killed almost all the drones. I mean, Kix does get a solid ROI, especially for a against a low eco build. Like, Red Warrior's economy is really bad now. But Kix is like not. I mean, he's got a lot of SCV pulled to make panic turrets and some things. But Kix has some serious issues here. Okay, so Red Warrior's kind of just gonna maybe run him over right now. He's popping a Goliath, he's getting a Valk out. Now he's got a lot of turrets in here, and this Valk will add some nice damage. Valks are notoriously strong against Muta. Wow. Okay, so this is not going well. Not enough Muta to snipe this Valk, and the Ling and Goliath, or the Vulture and Goliath over here are in a really nice spot to defend. He's now targeting firing SCVs, which is not the worst prioritization ever, and that was a bizarre kind of moment there. Not the sharpest micro from either player. Kix did do a good job of getting those Goliaths and SCVs over there. He's actually going to keep that turret alive, so he holds on for the moment. And let's see where we're at. The economies are very weak for both players at the moment. I mean, Kix is obviously healthier, but this is not a particularly healthy 8-minute economy. Especially considering it's not like there's been a mainer to the natural. Kix has really been cutting SCVs hard this game. So he's not at really that crazy. I figured once he killed 6 or 7 drones and I saw 4 here and 2 here, I was like, wow, this looks really bad. And then I panned back to the base and there were like barely an SCV per patch. We got 8 here. We have maybe 15 SCVs. Alright, this time the Muta fly back in, and now we're getting some return on investment. He immediately is able to snipe the Valk, which oddly Kix has not chosen to make another one. He's going to be able to pick up the Goliath, and one of his turrets is rather useless, very much a panic turret. And look at the mining disruption here Red Warrior is getting out of this, forcing almost all of the SCVs off the minerals. Now a big-time repair, but he's also losing a lot of Muta in the process, which is usually not what you're looking for here with 2H Muta. And this time a 3 Goliath drop, but there's a lot of Lings out. Now, getting here behind, well, okay, he's not able to get all 3 down, so I think these Zerglings will be able to clean this up. Now, if he goes back over here and drops, that would be pretty annoying. That, I don't know about that. Could just drone drill that, probably will just drone drill that. Now the Muta are back, so he's going to lose the dropship here. Let's see, actually, if he can get the dropship out of the main, he can probably drop the Goliaths and, like, fight the Mutalisks with the Goliaths, but I think he's still going to lose the dropship if Red Warrior wants to focus it down. Oh, Red Warrior, you should have killed that. Drones are forced to run. What? That is the weirdest, craziest pickup. Kix, what are you doing? You know he's got the Muta. Why? Just leave with the dropship somewhere else and leave the Goliaths there. I would call that questionable tactics. You can see he's not really able to mine from this gas the way he would like. This game is still all over the place, but Kix's supply is absolutely garbage right now. And the fact that there are 3 hatches here from Red Warrior, and Kix has not even really secured his ramp, let alone his natural, I'm pretty worried for Kix. Like, he's definitely slowed the economy of Red Warrior. His drops have done something, particularly his first one. But he has not SCV'd up, and he just doesn't really have good Muta defense, and nothing to speak of when it comes to Ling defense. Like, he is desperately getting out these Goliaths, but Goliaths aren't that great against Zerglings. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. He needs a few mines, a few vultures. Now he is gonna... Oh, that's good. Whoa, holy shit. If this is not a vulture from before, it just wrecked the natural. But it didn't change the supplies that much, so I don't think... I think it must have kills from fighting Zerglings or something earlier, because Kix was a few supply behind, and he's still a few supply behind. So I don't think it, like, laid a waste to a bunch of drones over here. I don't think that is the case here. Alright, so we got Carapace on the Muta, so we're getting something of a heavy commitment to Muta, which means I think we'll see a 3rd gas here now. There's not a 3rd gas yet, because Red Warrior's economy is still hurting, but it looks like he's going to try to play heavy Muta. Now, Kix has 2 Valkyries out. That's a pretty nice number. 2 Valks start to really put the hurt on Mutas, as long as they are well controlled and kept with the army. Like, the amount of damage the Muta are going to take, look at those Valkyries. They just run in there, and immediately the Muta are half health, turning pinkish. It's just devastating. So unless you can find those Valkyries out in an open spot, man. I mean, Valks are powerful anti-air. I was playing a ZVT the other day where the Terran made like 6... He went double starport and made like 7 Valkyries. And it was just insane. He went to my natural, and my Overlords were kind of spread. And he shot like 1 set of volleys, and I had like 100 supply of Overlords that just completely melted. It was unbelievable how powerful that was against my Overlords. Oh, whoa! Sweet cloning from Red Warrior there. So Kix, another blunder for Kix though. The control from Red Warrior is really nice, and he just completely gets 2 pairs of Scourge and eliminates 2 of the Valkyries. So Kix's almost really scary Valkyrie count just went down to 1, which is not that scary. And still no expansion from Kix, still a bit behind in supply. He is starting to produce SCVs a little bit more. It's looking not quite as grim here, but it's still not very good saturation. He's still on only Goliaths. And, Red Warrior, pay attention please, pay attention please. We got Panic Songs going up. We've got another hatchery coming out here. We've got Hydralisk, so he's going to play against anti-mech. He's triple sunkening here. So honestly, just by moving out here, Kix has done a lot. Look at that. He moves out, and he is forced... He doesn't even need to commit to an attack, really, now. He's forced 3 Sunkens. He's forced 3 Sunkens. That's a loss of 6 drones, which is a big hit, and that has actually tilted the supply for the first time in favor of Kix. So I would say if Kix attacks here, it's a bit of a mistake. He should not attack in here. He cannot possibly win the fight against all this at either base. He will just get flanked. There's just no sense in attacking. He's done what he needs to do. He just needs to expand, which he is doing behind this, and get himself back into the game a little bit. And he is finally going to get out some tanks. And it looks like he's going to go back home and defend against these Muta a little bit. Now, how many do we have here? Not all that many. We just got 7. He does have the +1 Kara. Probably not upgrading anymore. He's about to have Hydra range. He has Hydra speed. He's adding a 4th hatch, finally. And Kix is just flying around. That's pretty ballsy, honestly, flying around with these Valkyrie. And it may be even a bit of a mistake, because look what this is doing. It's delaying his command center. And Kix really needs that command center. Well, that's a nice Muta catch. And we've seen this. Sometimes Red Warrior only moves his Muta away a small amount and kind of gets them in weird places where they start fighting armies they shouldn't fight. And now we are getting Hydra missile upgrade, which we already said. We already saw that he was getting that. Or sorry, no. This is Evolution Chamber. I'm psyching myself out. It looks similar to Hydra range. So we're getting +1 attack on the Hydras. Not a surprise because, well, he's obviously opting for a very Hydra-heavy Muta mech mid-game. We're 15 minutes into this one, and we're just now getting to the usual standard point of a mech game. With the games being relatively even, definitely advantage here, Red Warrior. I mean, he's already got a 4th base up. He can drone up a little bit more now. He's got quite a few Hydra. In fact, with just 1 tank... This is a little vulnerable. If there were 3 tanks here, I'd say, nah, you can't do anything against this. But with just 1 tank, a little bit of possibility. Although the Muta count is low. But look at where this tank is. Although, there's 3 Valkyries. All right, so maybe not. I was gonna say that the Muta could pivot around, pick off the tank, and then just come in with the Hydra. And Kix is actually gonna try to trick this army to coming in. And oddly, Red Warrior is gonna commit to this. And I don't think this is that smart of an idea here, especially not with triple Valks. Unable to get anything out of his Scourge. So Red Warrior throws away a little bit, but he is expanding behind this. He's adding a few drones to the mix here. And he's still sitting at that supply advantage. He's getting a 5th hatch now. Really going to be ramping up that Hydra. Actually, is that a 6th hatch? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that is actually a 6th hatch. Excuse me. Because he is expanding to his natural. And now, finally... 16 minutes it took to get a 2nd factory out of Kix. But we have arrived. A 2nd factory has arrived. 6 hashes. Double Evos. So yeah, we are switching now into macro mode. Both players have decided, hey, I'm not gonna... Well, Red Warriors decided, I'm not gonna kill you on one base, I'm just going to eco up. Kix is very much not wanting to die. He's got a boatload of tanks on the high ground. That is not breakable. Especially not with a supporting cast of 3 Valkyries. That's plenty of supporting cast. We have the floating eBay scout looking for hidden bases. To the point that Kix is actually... Did Kix really want to scout so badly that he sent an Evo chamber out, but he's so... Or an Evo chamber. Floating Evo chambers around the map now, no. That Kix made a engineering bay? Like a second engineering bay that he's not going to upgrade from just so he could scout with the 1 engineering bay and still be able to build turrets. I don't know how I feel about the fact that Kix is still building turrets. Maybe this is like a, oh, he could go lurkers and I don't have a comsat turret, but I don't really like that turret in all honesty. I think that's a bit of a waste. We got the Queen's Nest coming, so we are going to work to Hive. We're getting that 4th base droned up, so a lot of economy and a hell of a lot of gas here from Red Warrior. We got Burrow being upgraded over here, although this gas here is not... Actually, it is just now being mined, but it's being mined very, very poorly. Oh, Jesus. This Sunken needs to die then, I guess. This Sunken just drives the drones insane. In the meantime here, he's trying to pick off mines, but he doesn't have an Overlord. And so these Hydra are actually taking a lot of damage, and that is going to allow Kix to get a few Vultures on the map. And honestly, I have to give Mazur credit to that. He was obviously watching the minimap, noticing that something weird was happening. And indeed, that doesn't... You would think this wouldn't trigger this. But, yeah, that's... It's not always that way. But it's really suboptimal gas mining. And by really suboptimal, I mean it's fucking atrocious. That's not just a long trip, that's like halfway around the Earth. Alright, so Kix is in full turtle mode. He's got 4 factories up now. He's going to add a second shop. Okay, at least there's an opening there. I was worried he was going to make this beautiful tank circle that would just hold in all of his tanks. He's finally... Well, he's got an academy. He can add scanners. So I think Kix is just going to play this where we play on one base and a half at a time. So he's going to mine out his main, and then he's going to move to his 3rd. And then when he mines his 3rd out, he's going to move over here and play that way. Red Warrior, meanwhile, has a 20 supply lead. He's got a pretty good economy going. He's got this disaster, but we'll overlook that for the time being. Bunch of drones. 5th base coming up. I mean, honestly, as long as Red Warrior doesn't have a terrible engagement, he should be relatively okay here. And yeah, this is indeed Kix the Caster. Kix the Caster and Organizer. Let's give Kix credit where credit is due. He organizes a bunch of shit. Him, Shamtu, Zero, all big time boys doing great things. Of course, Zero's like kind of the mega MVP, because not only does Zero do all this organizing shit, like Zero's actually a pretty legit player too. Whereas me, Shamtu, Kix, you know, we're nothing to talk about. Alright, so this is an interesting engagement choice here for Red Warrior, because it's very much in a choke and at some very awkward angles. Now, he's getting a lot of Hydra in here. I hope he's going to have more units spilling in. This might be more effective than it looked like, simply because there are some Overlords to soak damage here, although Valkyries are here, but it's really a bad angle, and the only reason that went, or is going, even remotely okay for Red Warrior is because he's just got a lot more stuff. He's had a pretty big supply advantage here. Lings and Hydra continuing to spill in here. A few pair of Scourge coming in. Oh, but he's got them cloned the wrong Valkyrie, so those stay alive. Kind of resets the supplies, but I think Red Warrior's okay with that. I mean, Kix is on 2 base, almost mined out, basically 1 base mech. So the replenishing ability for Kix is garbage, and the replenishing ability for Red Warrior is lovely. He's on 5 bases. He's got heavy drones. I mean, you know, Kix is just basically going to run out of stuff here shortly. He has not gotten a 3rd base fast enough. He's turtled way too slowly, and Red Warrior's just kind of outmassed him. You know, Kix had that initial disadvantage there after... I mean, his Vultures got a lot of kills, but he was on, like, 15 SCVs and barely had any units. It just took a very slow 3rd. He didn't really take any risks. Like, he was pretty far behind, and he didn't really take any risks to try to get back in. Like, the mindset seemed to be, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, which when you're already that far behind, that's sort of like saying, I'm just going to commit to being dead. You'll make the game 10 minutes longer, but you won't win. I feel like if you're really far behind, you have to take at least some minor risks to do something to get back into the game, because you're basically accepting defeat otherwise, or you're just really hoping the other player is going to play sort of stupidly, and then you'll get back in it that way. But like if you want to take control of the game, you have to take some risks. Maybe try to take a bit of a risky expo that you can't really defend, but hope that your opponent will not see it, or that you can really defend well. And now we're down to just tanks here. Some Zerglings trying to get on top of these tanks, and that's about all that's left for Kix. We can see how low the money is here. And now these small attacks start to get pretty efficient for Zerg. I mean, Zerg lost some Lings in that attack and some Hydra, but he thinned the tank count by 4. And on this kind of production, that's a big deal. Now we see these 3 Vulture, we see a dropship, but I'm not sure how much it matters at this point. We are watching the slow death of 1 base. Okay, well now it's 2 base kicks. But we are watching the slow death here. We've even got Defilers being added into the mix. We have the Ultra Cavern coming up. Let's take a look at those grades. We got 1-1, probably 1-1 from Kix, or maybe 1-0. Okay, yeah, he does have 1-1. I know he's had the Armory for a while, but it was slow to upgrade. Was this ever noticed? This was never noticed, this atrocity, unfortunately. Doesn't seem to matter, though. Red Warrior's banking hardcore, ready for that massive switch to Ultra. So if this wave doesn't end the game, the 5SU, 6SU, 7SU, 8SU should more or less send Kix packing. Alright, so our Defiler's coming down here. We're about to have the big attack. He's got plenty of supply free to just spam out those Ultras. Not happening yet, just waiting on that Ultra Carapace, making a lot of Zerglings in the meantime. Spending his money pretty well on the Zerglings, though. His gas hasn't dropped, so it's all Zerglings, and never mind, this is where his money went to. He's going to have a boatload of hatches, mega production here. So reinforcing ability for Red Warriors through the roof, and it's pretty minimal here for Kix, because he's only got 2 bases. What are you going to do with 2 bases? And Kix is like not scrambling to take a 4th, which is, I guess, the part to me that's like basically accepting you're dead. Like, you might as well take some risks, man. Like, scramble to take a 4th, try something. Alright, we got Dark Swarm just blanketing the natural. Now, there are 4 or 5 tanks here, so there is Splash, and that's still going to deal with these Lings pretty well. But it's rendering the Goliaths and Vultures absolutely useful. Unable to hit a Plague or a further Dark Swarm on those tanks, which would have been sweet, but does clear out a bit of supply. And I think at some point here we're going to see some Ultra Spam. I'm waiting for it. But we haven't hit the key. Oh, okay, we're starting a little bit of Ultra Spam, but he's got so much. Okay, that is finally the Ultra Spam. The supply skyrockets, and we are about to have probably a control group or so of Ultra coming out, and throw a few swarms on that, and that can basically just bludgeon its way here into the natural over to the 3rd base, etc., etc. Now, the 3 Valks are still alive, and I mean, you can see Kix is very defended from the one thing that would be scary at this base, which is a drop. But there's about to be so many Ultralisks that I'm not sure it's going to matter. And by not sure, I mean I am confident it's not going to matter. So we've got our 5 hatcheries, getting our Defiler mound up here with the energy upgrade. We've had that for a while. We're upgrading further. Did he get 2nd Carapace? Yeah, he just got 2nd Carapace, so that kicks in. Kix also just got 2nd attack. Currently not upgrading. And Kix is unsieging. Let's see what Kix wants to do here. Because he is unsieging. Is he just going to go get a 4th base? I mean, I feel like turtling is kind of what he needs to do. But I'm curious to see where he is going to be turtling at. Alright, so there come some of the Ultra Spawns. Look at all these units here. And, wow, Kix has actually, like, turtled this off even more with a supply depot. But the problem is he needs more bases. 3 bases doesn't win games. Alright, so the single vessel irradiate on a Defiler, which is better than nothing. And some swarms, kind of paving the way to the tanks. And now we're going to start leaking in the Zerglings, tanking the initial mines. Here come the Ultra, as Red Warrior tries to end the game against the turtling Kix. And oh, he's actually got drops here. He's got Defiler in these drops, so if he can get some swarms down, that'll be nice. Alright, we got Ultras on top of the tanks, under swarms, a lot of Lings. Looks like the front is broken. There's only 1 tank on the high ground. There's like 10 Ultras, and the reinforcements back here can be sent in. Look at this. Kix is actually body blocking with these SCVs. And it looks like Red Warrior is basically saying, here's some Zerg. I'm going to force feed it down your throat. Get out of my game. I am winning this series 3-1. And yeah, the main of Kix now being completely overrun. And of course the natural is cleaned up. So 1 base mining from Kix. He's actually harassing like mad with these 2 vultures. That's literally what Kix is worrying about right now. Which gives you the idea of his mindset. Because, you know, Zerg has 6 bases. 2 vultures to rule them all. 2 vultures to rule them all. And he is going to get some drone kills with them. Because that should happen when you're microing the shit out of 2 vultures. And you're dying. He's actually continuing to throw down irradiates. Continuing to try to soften up this army. He does still have 800 minerals. Finally sending over some Hydras to deal with these vultures. Which is actually at 10 kills now. So yeah, the vultures have gotten plenty of kills. Which is exciting, but perhaps slightly less exciting when you're dead. And Red Warrior now also expanding to the bottom bases, continuing to flood the main. And, you know, Kix is Terran, so, you know, he's not leaving anytime soon, boys. He's still mining, right? He's still mining, so, like, it's not like he's going to leave the game. It's not like he's going to leave the game. He's actually loading up. Is he doing dropship micro? The determination, the will to live. There's 12 ultras. Micro the tanks and the dropships. Do it. Do it. I wonder if Red Warrior's even aware that Kix is doing this. Like, you're probably not paying that much attention at this point in time. Like, Kix is microing. And then finally Kix says, GG, well played. So he is manner in the end. But he does take a solid 3-1 pounding by Red Warrior. So there you go, there you have it. Red Warrior takes the game. And we are about to go into Series 2, which is going to be, you guessed it, Cryok versus Tai 2. Cryok versus Tai 2 after break. So I'll be back in 1 or 2 minutes, and then we can get psyched for Cryok versus Tai 2. Hmm. 119 seconds, 115 seconds. All right, we got the countdown. Well, folks, it is about time for some Cryok versus Tai 2 action here coming up. I'm excited for that. I hope you guys are excited for that. And it looks like someone, Tempest here, with the link to some juicy Tai 2 clips. I don't actually know what that clip is, but who knows? Who knows? Probably something exciting. Probably something exciting. So we are about ready to get going with our second series. Again, we have Cryok versus Tai 2, so we're going to jump up about 500 MMR in level and have a pretty good match. I would say Tai 2 should be the favored player here. Pretty strong foreign Zerg. Definitely likes to do aggressive play more often than not, but he is capable of macro style. I saw some conversation with him recently where, though, he does feel like his ZVP is really what carries him. He feels very, very strong there, but he has a little less confident. He's talking about how his ZVP really feels like it's kind of top foreigner level, can stand toe to toe, but that he feels a bit weaker in ZVT and ZVZ, and really would like to improve those two matchups. So we're going to see how it goes as he faces off Cryok. And of course, guys, as always, if you are enjoying the casting, enjoying the games, please follow, subscribe, donate if you want. That is just an open invitation. I am trying to upgrade my graphics card. You guys, I'm sure, have noticed that the stream sometimes is a bit stuttering, and unfortunately I am running off a graphics card that is 8-9 years old. It's like a GeForce like 520. It's literally like a 2010 card, and it struggles just a little bit even on games like this. So I'm looking forward to being able to upgrade that and have 100% always beautiful smooth streams. But anyway, enough of that. We have in the top right hand corner as our orange Zerg Tai2, and on the left side as our teal Terran we have Cryok, the German force, and Tai2, the American. I don't know who to root for. I have a soft spot for Germany, that's for sure. I know a little bit of German. My dad is somewhat native. He was born in Germany. Now, his dad was, my grandfather was American, but my mother was, or my grandmother was German. My dad actually didn't learn to speak English until he was like 5. He was raised more by his mother, and she mostly only knew German at that time. So I have a soft spot for Germany, but of course I am American-born and live in the U.S. But I also kind of have to root for Tai2 because he's in FBW Discord, and those guys are awesome. If you guys aren't in Foreign Brood War Discord, I would join it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Good conversation, good times. You can even get advice on Brood War most of the time. Let's see, we got 12 hatch coming down here from Tai2. Drone to make the hatchery, drone to scout it on up. And SCV heading cross map here. Although interesting scout path here for Cryok. Well, I'm now very curious. I'm less curious now. I think Cryok is up to something. And that something is a factory over at the right-hand side of the map. And he's going to try to block the ramp, which he really wants to do? No? Okay. Because obviously if Tai2 comes in here and sees nothing, you know, he's going to know this is weird, right? He's going to say this doesn't happen. Although, interestingly, he hasn't gone further in the map. He might be wondering about the lack of SCV, though, because I think his drone saw the SCV kind of walking by it. So he should be a little bit suspicious of what Cryok is up to, and we'll just have to see what his reaction is here, because this vulture is going to be really fast. So if he's aware of this, we should see an immediate sunken colony going down. Otherwise, this vulture from Cryok is going to have the potential to do a tremendous amount of damage. And surprisingly, we don't see that. And I think maybe, well, he is blocking the ramp. Okay, but that's just to block the SCV, which could try to bludgeon its way up. But the vulture is on the way as we speak. And, oh, wow. Okay, so, wow. Okay, Tai2 has been completely fooled here. The fact that Cryok didn't really make a Marine, and Tai2 didn't go in further to see the gas, now Tai2 is probably thinking, what the what? Because he didn't even make Lings, and he did not make an ASAP Sunken. So this drone on the ramp is definitely valuable. It's bought some time. It's going to force the Vulture to fight here. But now the Vulture's into the main base here and is going to have free reign on these drones. Tai2 is forced to double sunken at both bases. There will, of course, be a second Vulture now into the main. So Tai2 is taking a lot of damage here early from Cryok. But wait, is this... Oh, wow, that is really good there for Tai2. He does get a surround on the Vulture, and that prevents it from abusing the top space. And now it is taking a few hits from that sunken colony. And let's see, Cryok's going to try to go up to the top. He'll have a little bit of space to micro in, but Lings are out here from Tai2, and with this little space, it's going to be very difficult for Cryok to do some fantastic Vulture micro. And Tai2 with a nice little drone pull. He's going to add a Hydralisk Den up here, kind of zoning that Vulture out a little bit. Now, again, the Vulture does have some space to work with. Can poke at these Lings, and alright, Tai2 gets a good hit on that Vulture. Now he sees where the factory was. But, I mean, let's face it, Cryok has done some serious damage here. Forcing double Sunkens. Possibly forcing a Hydralisk Den. I'm not sure that was in Tai2's initial planning. And he also got, what, 3 kills? 4 kills? So that's a lot of return on investment for that first vulture. And now the factory is floated, so it's not going to be 1-on-1 from Crack. It's actually going to add a second barracks, and that is a bit of an interesting transition here. So I was kind of expecting more of a 1-1-1 transition from Crack, although I guess with that factory built far across the map, adding a machine shop, getting tanks and stuff like that later on would have been a bit awkward. But I'm not sure how strong this transition is. That might offset a little bit of the economic damage that Crack has done. We're getting a few Hydralisk out from Tai2, who, based on that, I think is really expecting 1-1-1 or Wraith-type play. So that might explain also the rationale behind these barracks from Crack. Although Crack does add a starport pretty quickly. So second barracks and a starport. A lot of stuff on one base here from Crack. I'll be curious to see what his endgame is. This going to be kind of like 1-1-1, just go to vessels here and come with Marine Medic, or is he going to make race? Is he going to do a dropship thing? He's getting a control tower. That doesn't necessarily tell us much. Wow, okay, so despite seeing the factory floating, Tai2 hasn't really, well, he's more or less prepared for it, though. I mean, Krog's trying to be cute here. He's not looking like he's going to get a drone out of this. He's got a Hydra. Actually, he's going to get one. Ah, these are good pulls from Tai2. Wow, very nice. So some sexy pulls there from Tai2, keeping himself alive and fine. He's got to find the factory now, right? Alright, so this Hydra picks off this Vulture, and now we have small Marine Medic Force coming out here from Cryok. So he is making a dropship, so he wants to play the drop game here with this. And range is on the way. Stim, we can infer, is done. And this is, of course, a very small Marine and Medic group. It's not that scary, but there's only one sunken at the front, which is relevant. Lair is still a long ways away, so Tai2 is playing here without a whole hell of a lot of options. He's obviously gotten wind of this now with that Hydra, and is adding a second creep colony. A bit of an awkward positioning. If Crack was really feeling kamikaze, depending on what Tai2 had, not in this case, but we could see some sort of kamikaze run by into the main base. If the situation was a little different, there were just a few lings. Alright, so Tai2 runs a ling forward there. Really nice ling run by. Gets a complete look at what is sitting outside of his front door, being scary AF. And alright, Tai2's going for it. Running the Hydras on top, and this is enough Hydra ling. Not normally a strong army, but it's enough in this case to pull all this back. And Crack is going to have to retreat with that dropship. The factory is going to meet a grisly end. Science facility is being added, so it is 1-1-1-esque play from Cryok, but with a dropship first. Some medics being cleaned up here by Tai2. In fact, I think he got all the medics, so that is a nice catch. Having to replenish those medics, always a pain for Terran. It's not quite as bad as like a Protoss losing all his High Templar, but it's not great. And now Cryok is back here on the defensive, but he's got enough Marines that these Zerglings are not going to do any damage up the ramp. And we can see Crack has ecoed behind this quite a bit better than, say, Kix had, which is not a surprise. Crack is 500 MMR higher, I think. I believe Crack is 21, 22. Kix is more like 17. So just a little bit of a difference in level and class here. A few more drones popping out. So the one thing that Tai2 definitely has now is an economy. He's badly lacking in tech. He's adding a 4th hatchery, and he's going to grab a Spire here. But of course, Lurker's the play of choice. He just wants the Spire to deal with the inevitable dropships. But he knows it's coming. He's seen the dropship. He's got a lot of Hydra positioned. And with this Sunken already being forced to be added, that kind of makes drop play unintentionally weaker. Oh, I like this. Oh, that's so cute. But it doesn't quite work out. He wanted to move the Hydra away just a little bit to bait the dropship in and go for the snipe. But of course, the dropship has vision, and Crack was paying attention to that. So wisely, Crack doesn't lose the dropship. No, he does have a bit of a window to drop back here, but these Zerglings are in pretty good position, and honestly, Tai2's defense right now, looking pretty ironclad. This dropship shouldn't do any... Well, it could actually deny this base, and probably will be used to deny... I actually canceled it. So it probably would be used to deny the base here in the short term. But I think this dropship is not going to be able to get any utility until a bit later in the game, or maybe right now if Tai2 runs away those lings. And comes back, but not enough now. Should be safe over here in the corner. Now, can he get in range of that hatchery and deny it is the question. Oh, he's going to run forward and try to fight the lings. All right, we got to pull back. That's a good start. Yep. All right, so base has to be canceled for Tai2. So Crack is going to get something out of that dropship in the meantime. He's got 3 racks. He's getting his vessel. Lurkers are done here for Tai 2. He actually just morphed the Hydra that we're chilling over there. And Crack looking to circle back with this dropship, really putting a lot into it, more than I expected him to, in all honesty. But again, Tai 2 is on top of this. He has the Overlord to spot a few barrel lurkers. And of course we have the Sunken Colony up here, so that is good. And with these lurkers coming in, we got Scourge, unable to save the dropship now, and only gets 4 Marines down. So Lings are going to clean this up just fine without any medic healing ability, and that immediately gets surrounded and taken out for Crack. Not that you guys could see that, completely covered up by the little banner. And now Command Center floating on down here towards Natural. So expansion finally goes up for Crack. He's got his vessels out. He's going to re-add that factory. And Tai 2 has a bunch of Lurkerling, adding a few Hydralisks. We'll see. We've seen against vessels a little bit more. We've seen some Hydraling-esque or Hydralurk-esque compositions, because it's pretty strong against tankless play. But of course this is not the case here for Tai 2, and we've got some initial radiates going on, and we have a pretty scary looking bust in all honesty coming in here, because Crack has expanded extremely slowly. He's adding that second bunker, but he doesn't have any tanks to add support to this, and a lot of units. Remember that Tai 2 got both upgrades for his Hydras earlier because of how that game went out. We did see him upgrading. So now running in with all of these lurkers here and in range of both bunkers. SCVs can't really repair. First bunker dies immediately. Good target firing. And it looks like the front door of Crack is wide open and there isn't much in the way of Marine Medic. So the natural is... Oh, he doesn't get the lurkers burrowed though. He really wants the ramp burrow. Gonna force those Marines back away from the bunker. Ling's being sent in to attack the bunker, and the attack working out very well for Tai 2 right now. And without tanks, honestly, if he reinforces with Hydraling, I feel like it would be incredibly hard to deal with. But Tai 2 appears to have done it in Game 1 here and broken Cryoc at the front. The Hydra's pouring up the ramp, and without medics, sending in the Hydra like this, totally fine to do, being effective. And has Cryoc completely pinned out, not mining from his natural. Tai 2 finally expanding to a 3rd base. And Lings flooding in, and without medic healing, that's just going to overrun the Lings. And now the Lurkers go up the ramp. They're over the racks, and I believe we have GG here. Tai 2 gets it done, takes the first game against Crack. Not a bad victory after that, especially after that first Vulture, forcing 2 Sunkens and getting 4 or 5 kills. So a solid game from Crack. And we will go into Game 2 between Crack and Tai 2, and again on Clay Field, so same map. Will we get the same spawns? Let's find out. So, spawning in the top right-hand position as the Blue Zerg, up 1 game, we have Tai 2. And in the bottom left-hand corner, as our Orange Terran, we have Cryoc. So definitely not the same spawns. We have cross-map spawns. Generally, that is something that Terran is a little less happy about. Zerg is a little more happy about. But we'll see what happens here. We shall see. Tai 2, of course, known for his aggressive play. We kind of saw that, but not really the last game, because Tai 2 got pretty disruptive. He ended up being aggressive, but that was more because he was ahead. He played a pretty standard off of that, whatever. He got 3 hatches, he got lurkers, you know, he didn't rush anything out, crazy gas timings, nothing like that. But now, it looks for the... Well, we got a ways to see if it's going to be a normal opening from Cryoc. Crack, known for being kind of more of a macro Terran, not knowing for being someone that does lots of aggressive or cheesy type builds, so I think we're going to see him go back to his more typical macro style at this point. Getting that supply depot up. Of course, Tai 2 scouting incorrectly, but that's always going to happen due to the natural Overlord pathing. Always send those Overlords to the closest natural. Although, actually, for this map, This would be the classically wrong Overlord scouting direction, because the natural is actually here, and I believe here. It's the reverse of what it normally is on Fighting Spirit. Taitu is scouting clockwise around the map, which is correct for normal Fighting Spirit, but for this map, it's actually an anti-clockwise that sends the Overlord to the closest natural. And let's see, gas goes up for crack, so we are going to have some sort of mech or 1-1-1 or two-port Wraith play. And of course, remember, these games were played this summer, actually, so that definitely adds credence to the possibility of 1-1-1. That was a lot more popular 6 months ago than it was after Effort sent Flash packing. Obviously, we're going to see a factory go down right away. There's no doubt about that. It's what comes after this that is of interest. Taitu gets the third hatch down and is going to grab that gas. Immediately we can see he did do the 13 pool variation of this. So the slightly more eco-friendly variant, but that's totally fine because, well, Crag is not rushing him, so no danger for Taitu, and he's going to be comfortable with his economy. If you do that build, you go for pool on 13, and then you go for hatch on 13, gas on 12, and it just gives you a few more drones, a little more optimization. I like this. Taitu is being cute. He's making him think, I'm up to something in the main. I've got this all blocked off. You should be scared of me. Because I'm evil. But in really, he's not up to anything. He is preparing for the possibility of Vulture. He actually hasn't scouted yet, but he is getting that creep colony up right away. And what is going on behind this? Well, he's adding a very fast machine shop. So maybe Vulture with mines? I doubt we're going to see just a single siege tank, especially with the expansion. I think we're going to see Vulture with mines. So 1-1-1 play from Kryak here. Alright, his machine shop is done. If he starts a tank, I'm going to be really baffled. Yeah. Oh, speed. Wonder if there's any chance we'll see Vulture drop. 3 or 4 volts with speed kind of drop. Lair for Mr. Taitu. And the barracks is going to be relanded. First Vulture's out. Now we still don't see a second building, so I guess that Vulture's just going to head straight out. Maybe speed to defend against possible Ling all-ins. And have more microable Vultures, because right now, no scouting information. And remember that Taitu is blocking his ramp. So that is having Kryak be a little more suspicious than he might normally be. But of course, behind this, Taitu is looking like he is playing absolutely standard. This is looking like textbook 3-hatch meta right now. Getting that layer up, there's no Hydroden in sight, so we should see a Spire about to be thrown down here any moment. Vulture's at the top here, ready to defend. And a few more links coming out for Taitu. Speed is close to being done. That Spire goes down. So yeah, a very, very standard game we have coming up here from Taitu. And actually, Kryak maybe is just going mech. I figured with the Vultures and stuff, it was going to be 1-1-1, but very slow starport. And we're going to need an armory, which we have from Kryak here. He's going to need some Goliaths if he's going to deal with these meta. No scanner scans yet, so still doesn't know exactly what's going on. Oh, Kryak! That's a lot of speedlings from Taitu, so it's a good thing that Kryak has Vulture speed. It's a terrible thing that Kryak has already lost a few Vultures. We've already got an SCV pulled to the ramp. It's a shame the Vulture is not in the right spot. He probably should have just drilled at the ramp. So now Kryak's going to need to micro his heart out here with these Vultures to deal with these speedlings from Taitu. Now he does have 4 of them, although he is certainly wishing he could link these Vultures up and not really having the best micro of them, which is to say that was almost no micro at all from Kryak. Now this is a very difficult situation to micro. This is not easy micro, but he needs to right now. He's focused on running his SCVs, but look at the damage Taitu has done, and Taitu is just racing towards a supply lead. And he's also forcing out more Vultures when there is a Spire being built behind us. And of course, in the midst of all this commotion, there are not scanners being added. So that leaves Kryak in the dark about what is going on. Actually, is this a fake? Is this actually going to be a fake and he's just going to Hydra him? No, okay. Taitu's like, yeah, there's only Vultures. I'm going to make some Ulisks. Now, is Kryak... Okay, so Kryak is going to start making Goliaths. At least one. Fortunately, he has not started Goliath range. And now here comes a Link sneaking in, and there's nothing there. Now there's a Vulture that... No, there's not a Vulture that's close to popping. Oh, poor. Although this is going to be annoying. This will do some damage. 5 vultures are definitely going to run by here. He's on the creep. Now, the unfortunate thing is the Muta have already hatched. And oh, he tries to... Okay, I said this was going to do some damage, but that was just bungled. And actually, it just bungled so much it leads to auto GG. So the distraction lings absolutely just ruined Kryak. I mean, the economic damage was an issue, without a doubt. But equally as much of an issue was the fact that he was... he wasn't able to research Goliath range, he was forced to make more vultures, and he just wasn't able to get anything that could possibly deal with Muta. So Tai2 takes a pretty solid game 2, and now has a commanding 2-0 lead versus Kryak. So let's see if he can close out our final game here. Looks like we have... Did we go for the same map, or did we go for a different map? No, it looks like we are on Crown and Scepter. So, spawning in the top right-hand position as the Red Terran, we have Kryak. And in the bottom left-hand position at match point, looking to close it out, we have Tai2. All right. And of course, we looked at this map earlier. Again, it has a very much a fighting spirit feel to it in terms of its layout of your natural third, or your natural base, and your sort of, I guess you could call it natural third. Very much a fighting spirit feel. However, the rest of the map, a little less fighting spirit-y feel. I mean, the middle looks like fighting spirit, but it's raised. It's a high ground pod. It doesn't have double gases, and of course, the one big difference with the natural third is that it is across double bridges rather than being just a single ramp. So a bit narrower, but has 2 openings. So we got Depot at the ramp from Kryak, so more mech play, maybe? Maybe 1-1-1, I don't know. This certainly looks like a classic mech opening. Again, this feels like Fighting Spirit, so it's pretty easy to make a reasonable wall here. Lings can, of course, the Depot goes here. Depot above barracks, always tight, 100% of the time. Will never lie to you, will never fail you, never give up, never let you down. Depot above racks is tight. Depot next to Depot is always open to Lings, so Lings will be able to slip in through there. It'll be tight to most other units, though, and we have, of course, a fast gas, no surprise. You're not usually going to see a Terran wall and then a neglect gas. Most Terrans don't wall if they're just going to Rax FE. It just doesn't happen. And, of course, Tai2 here, we have the gas and the pool, so we are looking at a bit of a 9 pool, probably speed from Tai2. Which will be interesting to see play out, because the wall is not going to provide complete safety from this. And although actually he's not really looking to make a crazy amount of Lings from this, because he hasn't saved his larva, so that is of note. And wow, alright, yeah, I was going to say, I was getting a little bit interested in this, and this is actually just going to be like ultra hyper super speed Mutalisks. Probably, because I guess it could be a lurker too. So more aggression on the way from Tai2. We have the factory from Kryak. He's taken 2 off gas, so it's definitely not going to be 1-1-1 play. And I don't know, I'm going to be curious to see how he deals with these Mutalisks. He's going to need something clever, I think. I mean, he's got an SCV. He has already taken some damage. He has not seen the lair yet. And Tai2 is blocking nicely, looking to trap that, just not going to let it in. So dangerous moments here from Kryak, as he is in the dark about Tai2 and his fast lair coming up. Giving those Lings nicely at the top of the ramp. Has lots of Lings to block here. Remember, there's actually is going to get Ling speed. Spire is down, and he is going to flood Lings into Mutalisks And Crack is expanding on the low ground, again going for that vulture. I'm feeling ominously like a repeat of the previous game. This is a lot of lings. He's got this expansion. He is going to have 1 or 2 speed vaults, but these Muta are going to be so fast, and he's probably going to need to make vultures to deal with the ling flood, and he will absolutely just, if he comes down on the low ground and doesn't build a bunker or something, he's going to be so wrecked. And if he doesn't, then he might live, but then he's going to be kind of confined on one base, and things are going to get weird in that sense. He's adding a second factory. He doesn't even have an armory started, though, or an engineering bay, and the spire is almost done. This looks really, really bad for Cryoc. It looks like Tai2 might have just build ordered him. Oh man. Oh man. This is already not what Cryoc wanted to have happen. Has to cancel the CC. Now he's starting an armory. He's building the CC in the main. Of course, he has no idea about this at all. Now we can see Tai2 doesn't have a lot of money, so it's not like he's going to hatch even 6 at once, and he doesn't have a ton of gas, so these Muta are going to be kind of trickling in, but the armory is a long ways away from being done. Lings are actually being sent back home. A few are, of course, kept here, and so Cryoc is going to run out with a lot of vultures. And to be honest, the only way I can picture this maybe working out for Cryoc is if he could come in with the vultures and just force the Muta to fly around, dealing with the vultures for a little while he snipes 4 or 5 drones, because that would really cripple Tai2's rather infantile economy. Really slow that down and maybe buy enough time that he could get out 4 to 6 Goliaths, because if he can get out 4 to 6 Goliaths, look at that, that's not Goliath range, guys. Then it wouldn't be bad. But let's see here. Crack now moving out with a large number of vultures. But let's see what he can get done. The problem is there are already Muta headed across the map, and I doubt Tai2 turns back. Like, I bet you Tai2 just flies in here and says, fuck you, I'm going to start killing your SCVs. Now that might allow the vultures to kill a lot of drones at home, but you can see Tai2 is more or less aware of the presence of these vultures, so he's just going to defend the living daylights out of the top of his ramp, and let the Muta go to work on the SCVs here. And if Cryoc can't get up here and do significant damage, which surprisingly he's not trying to do, he's more or less going to be dead. Well, he's trying to get some Goliaths out. He does have 2. Let's see what repair can do, if he can work any repair magic. Oh, he's a little slow here. He's bringing over SCVs. He's basically trying to use Goliaths as turrets, but that is a lot of Muta. If he can get 1 or 2... Oh, the Goliath's already dead. Yeah, I think Crack's overrun here, guys. I think Crack is overrun. He picked off the first 2. He doesn't have any way to add turrets. He's now mining from his natural, not his main. I just don't think he can... Like, basically he needs Tai2 to ignore him and allow him to get 4, if not 6 Goliaths. But I don't think that's going to happen. And this Goliath is fighting away from his brother. Is he even going to get a Muta out of this cloud? No. And yeah, I think we're going to see GG here imminently as Tai2 3-0s Cryoc. He is trying to get up the ramp with these vultures, trying to get some kills, but he doesn't get it, and Cryoc, very manner, says GG, well played, and makes his exit. Tai2 takes it. 3-0 over Cryoc. Alright, so we are, what, about 20 minutes away from BSL, so we are going to cast one more game just for fun, and then we'll go over there and raid BSL. So yeah, you guys are welcome to stay with me. We'll watch, we've had a lot of TVZ, so we'll watch something different. We'll watch maybe TVP. Let's watch some Last versus Bisu. Watch some Last versus Bisu, and then we'll hop over and watch BSL here in about 20 minutes. I want to see how long this replay is. Okay, that's about perfect. About perfect. I know it's kind of a spoiler, but spawning in the top left-hand corner as the blue Protoss, we have a name that everyone should recognize. It's Bisu. And in the top right-hand corner as our orange Terran, we have Last. And if you guys can't tell, the map is Circuit Breaker, which is one of the bigger, sprawling macro maps of all time in history. So yeah, little circuit breaker action here. And we'll see what the players have in mind. This is going to actually make me kind of sad because, you know, it's Bisu, right? And Bisu's not around right now. Rain is doing his best to carry the torch, but he's not Bisu. I guess that's all I can say about that. Rain not equal to Bisu. In case you guys didn't know, Rain and Bisu, not the same person. Some similarity in their styles, but Bisu is like just upgraded Rain, especially in PvZ. PvT, their styles are perhaps a little bit different. Shockingly, Bisu is going to build a gateway after a pylon. That's, I know, big surprise. Of course, one of these depots here from Last, going to try to optimize his gas mining there, make those SCVs go in a beautiful line. Unlike Red Warrior's previous game, super suboptimal, expert, bad gas mining. And a barracks very near the ramp for Last, but that's actually interesting because that could be sort of turned into a wall easily, but I don't think Last is going to wall. But he is going to grab his gas, as is Bisu. Again, nothing too unexpected here from either player. And this will be interesting to see. This was played, I want to say this was like about a year ago. So this is definitely after Last had started to rise up as a strong player. And of course it's a practice game, which where Last had a little bit of success, because as good as Last has been in spawn matches and similar events, Last has been, for what his results are in practice and outside, Last is, let's be honest, Last has been a little bit disappointing in Star Leagues. He has not lived up to the promise he's shown in games. He's had more early exits from Star Leagues than he'd like, and I'm trying to remember if he's made it to a finals yet. He's definitely made it to some semifinals, but I can't remember. I think maybe one time he made it to the finals. If it is, it's just once, which is not what Last would hope for someone that we have a tendency to view as a clear second only to Flash. I guess you have to throw Effort in that conversation now, though, with his recent results. But Effort, until he broke through here, had been kind of dealing in the same thing. He'd had a lot of, but Effort had some early exits. Some round of 16s, I think a round of 24, one or two round of 8. You know, he'd had some pretty early exits. So Bisu is getting out his first Dragoon here, and the factory for Last, we got 2 off gas, so we're just looking to go into a fairly standard, safe macro toss kind of opening. And range for that Dragoon here from Bisu. And Last is just going to head home with that SCV. Is he going to build CC in base? What is this SCV doing? What are we going to... That is really interesting. It's like... I guess he doesn't want Bisu to see it? And he wants Bisu to think he's two-facking? I can't think of why otherwise, because that float distance, that's a very long float distance for that CC. I want to see, what does Bisu see here? I'm sure Last knows where he can build it. But he's worried that if the Dragoon goes up here, he sees the CC. And for whatever reason, he doesn't want Bisu to get wind of that command center. Unless he's going to do something very bizarre and just like float one out here and come and expand on the low ground. But that wouldn't make any sense, I don't think. Be very hard to keep it alive. So 2 Dragoons hanging out at the bottom of the ramp. We have a tank coming out and gonna force those back. Oh, Last guy needs to be careful with the micro. Doing a good job trying to keep those Marines close to the tank, but 1 tank and 3 Marines. 2 Dragoons very well microed. Could definitely take that down. And we have the 3rd Dragoon out, so classic 3-Goon Nexus from Bisu. The most vanilla of all PvT openers. Straight into a Robo. And then we'll see where that Robotech leads us. But given that he's adding a second gateway, I think we're just going to see a pretty standard Robo-Obs opening kind of practice game here. And yeah, Last is going to float that CC down to the natural. That's an odd choice. I mean, he's delaying his natural by a good solid 10+ seconds, building it there rather than somewhere else. And now with 2 tanks out, he's going to force Bisu back. And Bisu, of course, still doesn't know what he's up against. And that probably explains... why he's doing what he's doing, which is, of course, going for TT Tech. as that does offer some pretty solid push breaking power against a 2-fact. You can usually beat 2-fact with a tech build like that. Now, sometimes if the Terran player goes 2-fact and lays some great mines, that can ruin your day. But generally, DTs can deal with 2-fact pretty comfortably. So Last is getting a mine up front. He's getting a turret, so he's going to be reasonably safe. Let's see. Will there be? Oh, there will be a shuttle. Okay, so just as I say, he'll be reasonably safe. I have to revise that assessment just a bit. The scanners are coming. We'll have to see, are there turrets in the main? If there aren't turrets in the main and the DTs are dropped in the main, they're gonna get some damage done. They're gonna get some damage done for sure. And of course, without any turrets, he'll be able to just pick up and bait scans and delay turrets and be generally obnoxious. Obviously, Last is completely in the dark here, has no idea what's coming. DTs are loaded into the shuttle. And Bisu out to harass. Let's get a look at that vision. Will this mine be a hero? Doesn't appear like it. Nope. Not quite enough of a hero yet. So Last has no vision of this incoming shuttle, but he is a little suspicious of it. He's adding a few mines on the periphery. He's got the close turret is a little bit more of a DT turret. Sometimes against Reavers, you'll build the turrets a little farther out to stop the entry of the shuttle. Now let's see how the reactions are. He's got enough stuff here to defend, but he needs to be near his turrets, and immediately a few shots are going down. The shuttle taking some hits. There's some nice mines being laid here in case Bisu tries to drop the DT and run in. So Last has done a very good job inferring what Bisu is going to do, and look at the beauty of these turret placements here from Last. I mean, obviously this is very nice. Has these turrets well positioned here in a ring. Our ring is not what I want to say. All right, so DT is let down. He's actually going to scan, and Bisu picks that up, and that will give enough time for this turret to finish. Shuttle needs to boogie on out. Bisu gets that judged to perfection. But it was like, I mean, Last builds 2 or 3 turrets, but you can see the turrets zone almost all the way to here. He placed the mines. It was just a very, very nice defense. If you're a Terran player watching this game, well, there's a lot you can pick up from this. Think about how Last is building his turrets, his positioning, and see how efficiently and inexpensively he was able to defend against that from Bisu. Now, probably we'll see Arbiters behind this. Yeah, we've got our Arbiter Tribunal. We are getting a Forge and taking a 3rd bit. Now, that is a very interesting choice from Bisu. You don't see that very often. Yes, that is your most logical 3rd here. God, that's so perfect. Oh, but how good was that? How good was that? Micro tricks. Cleans up those 2 mines just using his shuttle. So well played. Bisu on top of that. But it's an interesting base because Terran takes this 3rd and just very naturally creeps this way. And then once Terran has this base secured, all he's got to do is creep a tank or 2 over here. The rest of his army is sitting 2 inches away. So it's a very interesting expansion choice from Bisu, and I'm curious if that's going to come back to bite him, or if it just means he's planning to play very aggressive, perhaps a recall-based game. We don't see any upgrade yet here in this Tribunal, but that will reveal quite a bit about the intentions of Bisu here. Finishing off that pylon wall over here at the 4th base. Now, it's Vultures can still get at it, but it makes it pretty easy to run probes to the back minerals and stay generally out of Vulture range. And Bisu taking a few Dragoons here, going to start clearing out mines from the various bases. Oddly, we still don't see any sort of upgrade. We're getting +1 pretty fast from Bisu. And the shuttle is still flying around looking for some mileage. But he's got triple scans here. Lots of scans. Oh, Bisu, you've done so well. And then this. Oh, good drop. Okay, at least he drops the DT, but yeah, loses the shuttle. DT is going to meet its end. Last, very on top of that. Looking composed and solid here. We have Observer nicely positioned at the front for Bisu. Last starting to add on those factories. He's got his upgrades rolling. We got 1 here. Where's the other armory? It's probably 2, right? No, he hasn't added the 2nd armory yet. Okay, do we have an upgraded here? Okay, so we are going to go Stasis. So Bisu is going to play this a little more defensively, not with fast recall. But here's the issue. So Last just rolls on over here. He's going to set up a 4th, and he's able to push Bisu at the same time. It's an interesting choice. When we look at it, Bisu's on 6 gateways. He's adding 2 more, so he's going to have some good production. But Last already has some pretty decent production. And you can see he's already setting up this powerful defense over here, but it allows defense to turn into offense, and it's just an interesting choice here. Now, Bisu might have an attack plan that's going to make sense with this, but I mean, his third base is already under siege. Now, he is grabbing a fourth down here in the more normal location. He's adding a cannon, but that cannon is not going to finish, and we're already at the point where probes are about to have to run. Whoa! Whoa! There's a lot of Goliaths here. I'm surprised Bisu allowed himself to bomb with the shuttle like that, but yeah, he's trying to abuse the Arbiter Cloak a little bit and burn the scans, but the turrets are going up for last now, and so that turret will finish shortly. That's what he wanted to do with the shuttle, was bomb that turret, so he could use the Arbiter a little more efficiently for defense. Bisu does have a slight supply lead. His shuttle is still alive, although it is not going to be alive anymore. So Bisu is going to move from mining 1/3 to mining another third, but that's a pretty big loss to take here for Bisu, especially since Last can now just throw down a CC there at his leisure, and he's already creeped over to Bisu's base. And of course, this is the hardest spawn for Protoss to play on Circuit Breaker. Very difficult spot. Hello, hello, little Chava, hello. So yeah, because this positioning here just allows the most natural creep of Terran, like right over into your main. Very frustrating spot to play. And if you circle around to try to distract Terran, well, then Terran just sort of moves his army a little bit, and you got to come across double bridges, which is next to impossible. Bisu rolling up the supply, and Last plenty defended here. I'm a little surprised Last hasn't just gone ahead and dropped his final CC here. Or his final CC, his fourth CC here. But he has a little more focus right now on just getting out his army and getting his upgrades rolling. Bisu has that +1 done, working on his way to +2. And we have an Arbiter rocking around the map here. Not enough to recall yet, but enough to threaten recall and pin Last back, buying a little more time. And Bisu moving swiftly to set up a 5th base here. Oh, did we lose track of that Arbiter? Or did it go over here to hang out? Okay. It went over here to hang out with his compadres. His compadres. And, alright, so the Dragoons are going to just keep on playing Minesweeper, defending these bases. And Bisu is getting a pylon here on this high ground. He'll be able to start adding gateways at another main here pretty soon. Oh, Bisu, be careful. Nice obs coverage here. Bisu having most of the key points well covered with obs. You can see when things are popping out on the map. He knows Last has these vultures running around here, so he's zoning those guys out pretty well. Last really wants to micro against these zealots, trying to get off a bunch of cute hits. I don't know if this is actually worth it for Last, though, because he is losing vultures in the process. Now Bisu gets the goons to his front. Last actually forgetting about these vultures for the moment. It was making me look to see if there was a recall or something happening. But no, he just takes his attention away from those volts. Has now finally set up this base. No surprises there. So Last with that solid 4-base EQ, but Bisu is a max Protoss, and Last still only on 6 facts, as he has been focused on getting his upgrades and his expansions, which will slow down your factory timings. It allows Bisu to get that max up. Gateway explosion happening over here in our bottom base. And Last right now has absolutely 0 map presence. Bisu completely owns the map, so it's going to be all about the 2-1 push here from Last incoming. And of course, look at that upgrade timing. He's going to have that nicely done, probably 16 minutes, maybe even 15-30, and moving out with a max army. Now, Bisu has not shown any inclination to recall, and I don't think that's going to change. I keep looking for possible arbiters on the map, but it's just not happening. I wanted to see what was in the shuttle. Okay, so it's only a Zealot shuttle. Zealots are great. Zealot bomb shuttles are great against... Ooh, Bisu wants to make something. Probably a second arbiter, yeah. So he has to kill off a Zealot. He's 198 supply. He has to kill off a Zealot to get that second arbiter rolling. So yeah, pivoting over on here to the side. And yeah, so no recall. So Bisu's just going to wait for the maxed army of Last here to push on out. And we can see Last is going to probably wait about another 30 seconds. He'll probably start working his way up onto the high ground here in a position where Bisu can't attack to save time, so he can move out right as that finishes. But yeah, the army collecting up here for Last. Bisu has added a few more gates in a different base. And we'll just have to see how the battle goes here against this army from Last. Alright, so initial engagement for Bisu, gonna pick off a couple vultures, he's gonna scramble out. Perfect scramble, doesn't even take a tank shot, so no problems there. Still has the obs over the army. Interestingly, where are the vessels of Last? Where are the vessels of Last? Are they defending recalls? Has he just not built them yet? What? Well, the fact that there's 0 vessels with his army is a bit of a concern. And possibly now Bisu can threaten recall. He's thinking about it. Look how his army is set up. He is definitely thinking about it. And I was looking for vessels, and there aren't vessels. The downside is there's a boatload of turrets, although he's sending in obs, which is actually pretty cute because you can see the turrets. He's trying to find a spot. Some mines go off. They're pretty decent mines, but not enough to vaporize the army. But Bisu is going to annoy this base, but there is a tank alive here, and a few more are being diverted. In the meantime, Last is pushing, and Bisu's goons, unfortunately, are walking forward into the army of Last. Now, he reacts pretty quickly, but this is a big enough army for Last, where even if you run away, Last just can chase this down and get off a bunch of free hits. Bisu is doing damage at the base of Last, but he doesn't have a full army out. We can see Last is actually higher than Bisu in supply, moves forward, gets a nice stasis. Bisu really likes to pick off vessels with Dragoons. You can see I was almost thinking about dancing in there to do that. He does that all the time in his play. Obviously thinks that's extremely valuable for the way he can utilize his Arbiters. And now Arbiters being pulled back here from Bisu to help deal with this push. We have enough for a stasis and a recall just about, but this base is under siege and looks like it's going to go down. Bisu did a little bit of damage over here, but honestly, I don't feel like it was worth the value of the recall. And Last now has a strong position on the map. The good news is Bisu has 2 more bases over here. He's added a lot of gateways in his opposite main. He's got a Nexus up. He still has plenty of Arbiter tech. He's trying to trickle some Zealots in here and annoy this side of the map while Last is harassing up here. And of course, we've got 2 more Arbiters. He's looking to continue the recall game to Last 4th and 5th here as Last just tries to push across the bases. Last wants the main of Bisu. Bisu wants the recall over here, and this is kind of convenient for Last. Last knows this is happening. He's already set up a pretty good defense, and he's pushing very near the location of these recalls, which means that while the recalls are going off and doing damage, it's very easy for Last to both push the main and defend the recalls. So Bisu is really having a hard time dealing with the close spawn, especially by linked ground position to Terran. And now forced up his ramp. Now he still has a lot of gateways of production, but his supply is dwindling precariously, and Last is still basically in control of 5 bases right now, and Bisu is going to lose this Arbiter. We're going to actually have yet another recall here from Bisu, but this defense looks really... Oh, wow, that's a pittance. That was nothing. That wasn't even... Okay, so that recall literally just melts. That was terrible for Bisu, and that leaves Bisu with almost no supply whatsoever. He doesn't even have production in most of these gateways, and it looks like Last is on his way to just stomping over Bisu. But you can see how hard these positions are for Protoss. Definitely the nightmare for Protoss to spawn this way against Terran, because Terran just so naturally just sprawls across. If it's up-down positions, totally different story. You have double bridges and all kinds of things in play there. But this way, I don't know. And now it's contingent on Bisu getting out an army, but the economy from Bisu is 2 bases. So it's 5 for Last. I just don't see it being possible. And I think Bisu is about down and out here. Beautiful D-Matrix by Last on the perfect tank. Although Bisu is doing a pretty good job controlling his bridges, as good as you can do against siege tanks. Even a nice stasis there to assist that. So he is holding on to his macro at this base, but he's about out of Arbiters. He still has his main base. He is still producing them, but he doesn't have enough units to recall, enough money to have units to recall, and he just doesn't have the army he needs to break Last. So he is forced to play Last at the game that Last wants him to play, which is fighting his army in great positions. And so not only is Last being efficient, he's also just being too powerful. Like, Bisu just doesn't have enough. And there it is. GG is called, and Bisu takes that game solidly. And with that, gentlemen, I will say thank you for watching, and I will send all of us over to watch Zero. But I need to look up his stream name real quick. Actually, I can just do that by Team Liquid, because it's Foreigner StarCraft time. Real Foreigner StarCraft. It is BSL Pro League. We are about to head over to watch Zero. I should have his Twitch stream known. And, alright. Let's go watch some Zero. Some BSL / raid. Let's go watch some Zero. Alright, gonna load that up, and so thank you all very much for watching, and now I will send you on to our beautiful premier Foreign Brood War event. Oh, shit. Well, we're 11:30 away.